Hi there, my name is Waffles the Asian Yenber, but you can call me Waffles. You might not know this, but I fucking love cats. So when Scarlet and Violet was announced, I fell in love with this adorable motherfucker. And then I stopped paying attention to any news about the game because, let's face it, Nintendo already had my money. I was just borrowing it for a bit. So I'm going into this run blind. Here are the base Nuzlocke rules. 1 encounter per area, unless for some reason I find a shiny, and then that's fair game. If a Pokemon faints, it's dead and I can't use it ever again. And I have to nickname everyone, so it feels worse when I realize that the ever-present specter of a looming death is coming for all of us, and any thoughts to the contrary are pointless machinations and void where our only purpose is to die. And this is also hardcore-ish because I've added the following rules. Number 1, set mode. I don't get to switch out when the prompt comes up. Number 2, only 1 HP healing item per battle. Number 3, a level cap. If a Pokemon becomes higher level than the next gym leader's ace, they go into the box and I can't use them until I beat that gym. And number 4, the Wheel of Death, because I love making myself suffer, apparently. What's the Wheel of Death, you might ask? Well, after every gym battle, I have to spin a wheel with all of our current party members on it. And then, someone dies. Now, Sprigatito will never appear on the wheel. However, to balance that fact, he can still die in battle, I can never evolve him, and he must be in my party as much as possible. I paid $60 for this cat. If he dies, I will kill everyone in this room and then myself. And that's it! Now, it's time to begin our journey through the Paldea region. Now, after spending way too long in the character creation process, I rushed through the dialogue to get to my beautiful baby who I nicknamed Mr. Meowgi. Sprigatito the grass cat Pokemon, there's no contest. It purrs! It purrs! Oh my god! But that's when I met the student council president who has 3 character traits. She loves battles, she's already the champion of the region, and she loves battles. I love her, she's fantastic. The dean of the school gives her a duck so she has something to fight me with, and Mr. Meowgi makes it touch grass. We head out and Nimona makes me catch this pig guy on Poco Pass. Thanks, Nimona. Very helpful. I nickname him Oinkers, and we're on our way when I see 2 Houndour bullying a Miraidon. I give him a sandwich and I take him back to his original owner, who is just the most massive dick about it. We beat him up and he gives me Miraidon for it. As we make it to our first town, out pops Nimona for another battle, and Oinkers, as well as this Psyduck I picked up along the way, make short work of her team. She explains terrestrializing, which is essentially this region's gimmick, and it's also impossible to pronounce. Terrestrializing is always a solid strategy. It's gonna be a bug type terrestrializing. The fuck. It changes your type to one of the types that you already are, unless you're a gym leader. Then you get to change to whatever your gym type is. Well, I use it and my derpy little Psyduck to save this extremely online looking person from the region's evil team, Team Star, whose best feature are their animations. Shortly after, I get a phone call from this person, Cassiopeia, and she's like, "Hey, I hacked your phone. Now go fight Team Star." Yeah, okay. At school, I run into Arvin, who's Miraidon's original trainer, and he tells me that he's super into picnics. Yeah, this is a bit of a weird game. He tells me that there are giant Pokemon called Titans guarding sandwich ingredients he wants, and he needs help to beat them. The dean of the school looks at us 10-year-olds and he's like, "Hey kids, why don't you go out in the wild and find your treasure or something?" I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna go beat some gyms. I start heading to the bug gym when I run into a Starly. Her name is Fancy Feet. But then, whoa, shiny! Oh my god. Alright, come on, come on. Come on. Yeah! It's my shiny Mareep baby. Oh my god. I found a shiny Mareep who I'm gonna treasure for. So I'm doing some training, getting Memoki strong when I see a Vespiquen wandering around. Now all the other Pokemon in the area are like level 9. So I see this and I go, that'll be good experience. It was not a good experience. Miraidon tries to cheer me up by taking me for a joyride in this very functional game, but it was then time for the gym battle and, oh no, she's hot. I managed to stay focused enough to get through it with Monday's Psyduck, taking out our first 2 Pokemon with Water Pulse. Then the bug type leader sent out a Teddy Ursa. she changes its type to bug with the Terra thingy, and Psyduck almost gets one-shot by a Fury Cutter, you know, a move that gets stronger every time you use it. So I bring in Fancy Feet, who immediately loses half of her health to the second Fury Cutter. She's able to one-shot the Teddiursa with a wing attack, but that was still way too close for the first gem. But someone's gotta go, and the Wheel of Death chooses Psyduck. Bye bye, buddy. Moving on, Fancy Feet evolves into a Staravia as we head over to the first Titan battle. Since it's the Rock Titan, I was planning on using Mr. Meowgi to take it out, but it turns out its ability is Anger Shell, which raises its attack and speed once it loses enough health, and it had also just lowered Mr. Meowgi's defense with a Rock Smash, so I knew I needed to switch out or Mr. Meowgi was gonna die. Well, Oinkers, it was nice knowing ya.
Bruh.
Well, alright then. That dickbag Arven comes back to be my meat shield while Mr. Meowgi finishes off that giant crab. He makes me a sandwich that I immediately give to Miraidon because he's a very good boy, but that kinda pisses off Arven. I'm not really sure what crawled up his butt about our lizard friend here, but he does give me half of his sandwich, so, you know, maybe he's not too bad.
Today I'm running around New York with a pack of wild lesbians. Let's go! Let's go, lesbians, let's go!
We make it to the Artisan Gym where I lead a pack of wild lesbians into battle, and then it's time to challenge this guy, who's the grass-type gym leader. Fancy Feet double teams up and then just sweeps through all his mons, earning us the second gym badge. The Wheel of Death takes away Knackley, this little rock guy caught on the way to the Rock Titan, but thankfully the rest of the team lives on. Is it time? Yes! Oinkers! Finally! Alright, Oinkers, show me that you are worth being in the party. Okay. So Oinkers evolved and we caught a Fanfeet in the forest. I didn't know what to name it, so I kinda just picked letters that stood out to me, and that's how we got Valfilk the Fanfeet. You can pronounce it however you want, because I sure do. We make it to the Flying Titan where Valfilk almost dies, but we rolled our way through. Arven makes my purple wizard dude another sandwich, and that's when he reveals that he's not just trying to find these herbs to make cool sandwiches, but he's actually trying to find these herbs to make cool sandwiches that'll heal his doggo back to life. It turns out that his best friend Mabostiff was injured one day in the super secret Area 0 that no one's allowed to go into, and no one ever talks about because mostly I just ignore the NPCs anyways. But the Pokemon centers can't heal him. These magical herbs, they might have a chance to do what modern medicine can't, and I definitely only cried a little. Oh. Hard to tell us hope or not, but I know the difference. Now it was time to take on Team Star in their first base. We stormed in, beat up a bunch of grunts, and then their leader came out on a giant car. Oinkers takes out his Pawniard super easily, but it turns out that the car is a Pokemon too, and it has a massive health bar. It takes all of my Pokemon working in tandem to lower this thing into the red. Now, Valfilk hit it with 4 bulldozes, so it had -4 speed, and I'm forced to switch into something. I send out Fancy Feet, who takes a hit, but it should be okay because I can take it out with a wing attack and... What? What? Then somehow it outspeeds. Now, if I had known that would happen, I would have gone for a quick attack, but there should be no way that's possible. Unless these Team Starmobiles are actually immune to speed drops, but the game doesn't say, and as of right now, the internet doesn't have an answer either, so we just have to accept that death has come to collect, and we must regretfully send Fancy Feet off to a better place. May your wings take you as far as you'll flap in our hearts. Well anyway, I found a goth Tauros to go with my newly caught depression. His name is Midnights. The Tauros, not the depression. We're going into the electric gym. And right now, I think we have a really fantastic team. And I really think Valfilk is just gonna sweep. But after that, the wheel is coming up again, and God, I cannot have it pick Midnights. Midnights is so cool. It's goth Tauros. It's just, it's so awesome. So if I'm gonna pick like one thing from the wheel that I'm hoping gets picked, I think it's Oinkers. We got a cat for good luck. Are you gonna help us make sure we have a good time in this gym? She says yes. As we go in to take on the gym test, our favorite rival runs in and challenges us to another battle. Valfilk takes out her first 2 Pokemon, and Mr. Meowgi seed bombs her newly evolved duck. It turns out that the gym leader is a streamer, and to pass her test, we just have to earn some Twitch subs by battling it out for her chat. While doing that, Valfilk evolves into a Donphan, and since this is an electric type gym, that was very welcome. We pass her test, she makes her debut, and it's time to battle. Valfil tears through her team, hitting rollout after rollout. Wattrel drops, then Bellybolt, then Luxio, when her Terra Pokemon finally comes out. I bring in Oinkers, who tanks her charge beams and breaks through Confusion 3 times in a row to take her down. Oinkers came through like a champion. And if you want to be a champion too, what should they do, Ayano? No, but seriously, if you've been enjoying the playthrough so far, go ahead and leave a like, comment, share it with your friends. It helps me get off my ass to make more of these because high number makes my brain happy. Just know that if you leave a hate comment, I'll marry your mom and I'll make you call me dad. Hell, I'll marry your dad too and I'll make him call you Steve. Anyway, you know what time it is. Wow, Oinkers actually really came through in that battle, so I kind of feel bad about what I said earlier. Now that Valfilk, I have no idea. Just not Midnights, just not Midnights, just not Midnights, just not Midnights. Please, not Midnights. Artemis, you're gonna help it not be Midnights? Well, at least it wasn't someone who mattered. Now we're on our way to the water gym and I catch 3 new Pokemon. This adorable dolphin we call Winter, the regional version of Wooper who I named Swagsire, and this little grasshopper guy that I ran into while trying to avoid encounters. She was so small that she was practically invisible, so we're naming her Drax. And with 3 new Pokemon in the party, it was time to train, and lucky for us there was an outbreak of the only bad Pokemon Game Freak has ever made, Dunsparce. We happily deal with Paldea's pest problem until both Swagsire and Drax evolve. And it turns out that Swagsire has Water Absorb, which is just in time for our 4th gym. Alright, so going into this battle, I am not feeling super confident. Winter has some resistance, but unfortunately, while training, I saw that Winter's base stats are not great. So as much as I love Winter and she's very cute, I don't know if she's going to be that good in this battle. Valfilk is not really going to be helpful. As far as the wheel goes, I'm still kind of rooting for Oinkers. I feel bad. Oinkers is actually kind of coming through recently, so I don't know if really I should be rooting for Oinkers to get picked by the wheel, but maybe Oinkers or Winter. Today I have, instead of Artemis, I've got Apollo here to help me get lucky in this gym battle. Isn't that right, buddy? I start with Oinkers to yawn this Veluza thing, and then like an idiot, I go into Swagsire. You see, this Pokemon right here has a Mold Breaker. It flashed on screen. If you don't know what that means, it means that it ignores abilities like my Swagsire's Water Absorb. Take this Aqua Cutter. Oh wait, no. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker. Oh no. So we take a big hit, but Swagsire is eventually able to take it down. Next up, what the fuck is a Wugtrio? Oh, it's a monstrosity is what it is. I send in Midnights to kick that thing to death. The leader sends out his final Pokemon, a Crabominable, and I take a risk, going into Swagsire in the hope that he does his Terra move right away and heals me back up. It pays off, but I am still in a rough place. No one on my team can take both an ice and a fighting move, so I stay in and go for damage. Thankfully, he doesn't seem to have an ice move, which means that Valfilk and Swagsire can just keep swapping back and forth as I use his water moves to heal Swagsire and chip him down. It comes down to the wire, but we pull away from this without any casualties, and it's all thanks to their teamwork. Honestly, Valken, Swagsire, those two really pulled it out. Obviously, I do not want my Tauros to go away. I freaking love Tauros. Here we go. Okay, come on. No, 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 no. Oh, I said it. I said the wrong name. No. 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 I was trying to say Venison because that's the Winter's actual Pokemon name. I said Falcon. And now Valfilk must leave us. This was the first wheel pick that hurt. Valfilk has been with us since the Flying Titan, and we could not have gotten through the last 2 gyms without his help. As I can't bear to live with the weight of my sins, I go up to the top of a mountain and... oh look, there's a Team Starbase. I attempt to ambush them by launching myself straight into their camp, but the game says I'm not allowed to, so I'm forced to use the main entrance like a civilized person. Winter, Oinkers, and Swagsire bash through the grunts fairly easily when... oh, you're the hot one. Oh god. Marry me? We meet the hottest trainer around, and not just because she uses fire types. No, but seriously. Winters and Oinkers work together to take down her Chorkle and stall out the Sun turns when Big Car number 2 comes out, this time in Hot Rod Red. Oinkers tries to yawn it to sleep, but it's on too much speed to be affected. Winter takes a big hit on Switchin and Swagsire gets burned, so it's all up to Midnights, who finally takes it out with a double kick. As a reward, we get treated to a little backstory, and we find out that Team Star is really just a bunch of kids who got bullied. They hang out together like it's the Breakfast Club, and Mello was bullied for being too hot. Headed. Then we get a little more time in with our favorite shy gal, Penny. You know, the girl that we saved at the very beginning of this video. Next up is the Steel Titan, and it turns out it's just the giant worm from SpongeBob. I may not have had Sandy to wrangle it, but Midnight still came in and clapped its cheeks. Arvin makes me a sandwich for my trouble and makes extra for Miraidon this time. His Mabostiff eats a piece and makes a wolf sound for the first time in a long time, and that makes Arvin so happy. And now I'm crying again. Who's the best of boys? You are. Oh.
We interrupt this moment of story to bring you
Fun Facts with Waffles.
Did you know that only 100 companies are responsible for over 71% of greenhouse gas emissions? Here to tell us all about it is my new buddy, 71% the Roly-Coly.
Billionaires are inherently evil.
Haha, and that's all the time we have today, folks. This has been
Fun Facts with Waffles.
After a bit of training, 71% evolves all the way into a Colossal, so it's time to head to the normal gym. We finally have excess Pokemon, I'm so excited about that, but I put Winter in the box because Winter has not evolved. I trained her all the way up to level 36 and she's just nothing. So I don't know, maybe she doesn't have an evolution, but if she does, it's gotta be really good because at this point it's taking forever. And I'm just gonna try to make my way through this gym with Midnight's Terra typing right away, or terrestrializing, I don't fucking know how to say it at this point. But Midnight's comes through, punches everything, or I guess kicks everything, because Midnight's doesn't have hands. Midnight's has hooves. I have no idea what we're about to see, but it's normal types, so I'm not nearly as worried as I have been for the other gyms. So, let's go! So before you can take on a gym leader, you've got to complete a gym test. It's essentially just whatever task the gym leader wants you to do, and this leader wants me to order something off the super secret menu, and that's when I realize, wait a minute, I know Mexican food, what the hell is Spanish food? After spending way too long looking at Spanish food recipes, I go off to fight the trainers and get their clues when I run into this little demon child. You see this? This is Adara. And this is her Pokemon Greedent. Greedent is a normal type, not typically known for anything. So I'm just gonna terrestrialize and have Midnight's kick it in the face. You're never gonna guess what happens next. No! 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 God, mother child, I am going to get you, you piece of shit. Killing Midnights, are you kidding me? Yeah, well, your parents wish they could trade you for a sandwich. Fuck you. Midnights, no. Counter, are you kidding me? Midnights was my second favorite Pokemon on the team, so this one is a hard pill to swallow. All that helps me feel better is knowing that this child is frozen in time, never able to move from that spot. She will never have a birthday, and she will never see her family again. So anyway, going into the gym, I'm kind of worried. My strategy was essentially just to use Midnights to tear through everything, but Drax will have to do her best instead. She easily takes down Larry's Kamala when the worst Pokemon you know gets an evolution. Drax gets paralyzed and takes a heavy hit, so Oinkers tags in and takes out the Dunsparce with a crit headbutt. Larry's ace is a Staraptor with Terra Facade, so 71% just sits there and flicks it to death. And before we can hit up the wheel, Nimona is waiting to battle us. Oinkers, 71%, and Swagsire end her Mons before she can get started. I spin the wheel and... phew, we're safe. So we're off to go raid the third Team Star base, but before that, I've got two new Pokemon. This doofus named Roxas, and a Mimikyu I nicknamed Mimikute. We kick down the door to the poison base to find this guy reciting Shakespeare, which is probably the reason he got bullied. We finish him off without any problems. Now onto the mountains and the ghost-type gym. Oh, hey Bronzong, I'm gonna name you Wongzong, because... Alright everybody, we're about to take on this ghost gym, and I'm feeling okay about our matchup. Last time I said I was very confident and we lost Midnights before we even got to the gym leader. You know, I've got Mimikyu, I've got Drax, I've got Oinkers. I feel like we're gonna be kind of okay. I love all of these Pokemon so much, and they're all super helpful. Oinkers has more than earned Oinkers worth. I don't know, I considered bringing Winter into the party just because I don't know why Winter hasn't evolved yet. She kind of just sucks. So I'm willing to let Winter go, but I felt like that wasn't really in the sport of the Nuzlocke, and let's go into this. I go to heal up, and when I come back, the gym leader Rhyme is having a rap battle with a cashier, and it is the best thing ever. Listen up, Rhyme, your reign ends here. You're gonna get rung up by this pro cashier. Pro cashier? Well, I'm about to check out. Must have got your rhymes on a deep discount. Please, you think you can step to my game? Fool, I got rhyme right there in my name. I'm done, you won. My rhyme's totally whiffed, but I'll be back maybe after my next shift. I step up to show her my lyrical skills, but she only wants to fight using Pokemon, and since her gym is double battles, Drax and Mimikyu use the power of teamwork, and also a +1 Terrestrialized Shadow Sneak, to tear through her entire team. Do I have to? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh no. I don't want to do this. No. Maybe. Oinkers had just earned my respect. It's the one time I didn't want it to actually pick Oinkers. Cut it. Oh no, I've been wanting Oinkers to leave since the beginning of this game. But not now. Our adventure continues as we make our way towards the Psychic Gym Leader, but first let's welcome 3 new party members. Discourse the toxic little baby, Nom Nom the Gabite, and Kirby the Tinketsup, who's absolutely adorable. She's Steel Fairy though, so as long as I've got Mimikyu and Wongzong, she's gonna be stuck in the box, but I love her just the same. Especially after she evolves and she gets an even bigger hammer. Hell yeah, Kirby, go and smash stuff. Also, Discourse evolves too, and he gets a super cool rocker form. So we're about to face the Psychic type gym leader, and Winter still hasn't evolved, which means she either doesn't evolve, which I refuse to believe because her stats are just terrible, or she is like a pseudo legendary and evolves at like level 60 or something, which is still crazy, and I want to make sure that she gets to that point, but also at the same time, she's just not very good right now. For the other parts of the Psychic Gym and whatnot, I feel pretty confident. I mean, we just did the Ghost Gym, so a lot of the same Pokemon are still going to be pretty viable here. So I'm bringing Drax, I'm bringing Wongzong, I'm bringing Mimikyu. Those 3, I think, are going to be the ones to really sweep through this team. Let's just jump into it. So now that I have a team completely prepared to take on the Psychic type gym, I walk in and...
Surprise, motherfucker!
Nemona ambushes us. Wongzong takes a big hit from her Rockruff, but he heavy slams it against the pavement. She sends in her Palma, and I'm pretty sure that it's electric type, so I sent in 71%. It gets off a Thunder Wave when I notice, Rock is resisted, which means this must also be Fighting, Ground, or Steel. It definitely doesn't look like a Steel type, so I needed to get 71% out of there. I look over at Winter, and I send her in to die. With the free switch, I can bring Drax in, who gets paralyzed, but is able to take it and her Saloo out in the process. And my team has seen better days, but she's down to her final Pokemon. Mimikyu and Mr. Meowgi are the only ones who haven't taken any damage, but because I accidentally overleveled Mr. Meowgi, I can't use him in this battle. Now, normally he would be in the box, but because the rules say I have to have Mr. Meowgi in the party, and he must be in my party as much as possible, he's in the party. I go into Mimikyu, whose disguise gets broken. We're faster and we can go for a Wood Hammer, but it doesn't kill, and she hits me with the full force of her Terrestrialized Aqua Step. Mimikyu didn't stand a chance. I could send in Drax and finish it off with a first impression, but she's paralyzed, and I don't know if it's actually gonna kill her duck from this range. So I bring in Wongzong, and I use my healing item in the hopes that he can tank a couple hits from her, but he loses about half of his health, and I know that this next hit is gonna come down to chance. Wongers survives with 4 HP and is able to hit her with an extra sensory, but it's still not enough. Someone has to die. I look away, but I know what's happening. Drax, while paralyzed, ends this nightmare and brings us back to reality. Unfortunately, he gains a level in the battle, and that means he's now over-leveled for the gym, so we no longer have any psychic type counters. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, right? I add Roxas, Kirby, and Nom Nom to the party, as well as Swagsire, who I was really hoping could sit on the sidelines for this one. And the gym test turns out to be learning how to smile through the pain. But I don't do a good enough job, and the final trainer takes my goodbye away. Gym leader time. Kirby smashes through her first 3 Pokemon, but she needs a break when the leader's ace comes out. I switch in professional derp Roxas, but he gets hit way too hard with a Moonblast. I stall a bit with 71%, but I need to get Kirby back in without her taking damage. Hey Roxas, you're going to a better place, buddy. Kirby deals the finishing blow, but it doesn't feel like a victory. None of that went well. None of that went well. Nimona just came in and wrecked my entire team. And I don't want any of these Pokemon to go, but if I have to pick one to save, it's gonna be Kirby. It's gonna be Kirby, because like, Kirby is so adorable and is also Fairy and Steel, which is insanely good. Alright, come on. No. I was only planning on doing these things before the gyms, but things aren't looking good right now. You know, most of our team just got massacred. And so I think I have to take a gamble on something that really, really could blow up in my face. So I figure I should probably explain why. We've got the Ground Titan and one more gym left before I'm going to spin that wheel for the last time. And I decided that I am not going to add any more Pokemon to the party. At least I'm going to try not to until we spin that wheel. Because we're running out of encounters. And I need to be able to balance this team for the end game. So I'm just going to have to hope that Mr. Meowgi and 71% are enough to get us through this next bout. Because I really get the feeling that we're going to need those encounters for the end game. So I think this next gym is going to determine everything. The Ground Titan turns out to be ground and steel, so Drax sweeps the leg, or rather the treads, and it goes down. Arvin tells us this sandwich ingredient will cure my mental illness, so I go to eat it when Miraidon pops out and steals it from me. That's okay, I didn't eat it or anything. His Mabostiff gets a little better, but there's still one more sandwich we need to make. Alright, it's time. We're gonna win this, and whatever happens after, happens after. After a pretty easy gym test, we're introduced to Grusha, and we can't afford to lose this. 71% steps onto the field, and then basically single-handedly destroys Grusha's entire team. Kinda thought that would be harder, but I'll take it. Discourse wasn't around for long and basically didn't do anything, but we did have a rocking good time. So there's that. Now there's a few things we need to take care of before we can wrap up and go to the Elite Four. First on the chopping block is the Fairy Team Starbase. We bribe the guard, then Swagsire and 71% run around beating up the grunts until Ortega shows up. On a giant car, of course. We have no trouble with his team until the big old car shows up and confuses Swagsire. He's kind of a simple boy, he doesn't really understand technology, so 71% gives it his best, but he ends up punching himself and his health into the red. It's all up to Drax, who breaks through the confusion, lowers its attack twice, so Swagsire can come in safely for the finishing blow. He tells us his backstory, all about how he was getting bullied for being too rich and for having parents that loved him and his own personal butler. I think I want to bully him too. Alright, it's time to get the rest of our remaining encounters. So it's time for a speed round, are you ready? Let's go. Over in the ocean, I found a Narakuda. Named it Classic Rock, but I coulda, shoulda, woulda found another Pokemon. It flapped in my face. Surge is on the way, but I caught a mistake. Thank God I found a Gibble. Now Clarence joined the team. In the middle of the beat, Terra waddles just for me. Made my way to the ruins when I spotted something pink. Caught another Tinkertuff who liked to break knees. And yes, I fought a Titan. And yes, I caught a dragon. Gonna eat the sushi like my name is Bilbo Baggins. Oh, and I also caught Honeydew the Heracross. I don't really have a rhyme for that one. I just love him. So we beat up the last Titan, which means it's time for Arven's final Super Mega Ultra Sandwich. He feeds it to Mabostiff, and it looks like it's not gonna work until Mabostiff. He's moving. He's moving. He's up and moving, and both Arven and I are crying tears of joy. But the moment is ruined when the professor, who happens to be Arven's dad and is really clearly evil, hits us up and asks us to go visit his lab. Arven says he'll take me there, but we have a couple more things we have to do first. Namely, take on the final Team Star base, the fighting trainer Aerie. Outside of her Annihilate, which was insanely strong and took out Classic Rock, the rest of her team fell to Swagsire and Surge. And she was being bullied for being too tall and having a heart of gold. Cassiopeia calls us and is like, you know how I've been telling you that there's this super secret mastermind behind Team Star? You know how I've only ever talked to you through the phone and somehow know everything about all of the leaders? The Trinity, the big boss, is me. Yeah, obviously. Fucking obviously. Come on, my guy. But now that Team Star and the Titans are defeated, it's time to prep for the Elite Four. We step up to the Pokemon League building, ready to begin our run at the championship. Thankfully, we can access our box in between battles, so I can karaoke this shit and bring different teams for each fight. After a short interview with Rika, it was time to take him on. He uses ground type, so this is a team I brought. Mr. Miyagi one-shots his Whiscash and Dragon takes out his Camerupt with a crit Aqua Tail. His Donphan is a bulky monster that almost takes out Terra and Mr. Miyagi. Nothing can switch in on its coverage except for Mistake. I bring her in, but she doesn't outspeed and she gets taken out by an Earthquake. But thanks to her sacrifice, I can send out Honeydew, who chops that Donphan in the throat and takes it out. Honeydew also handles his Dugtrio, and Dragon finishes up his Clodsire. We can't mourn Mistake yet, so we push forward. Next up was Poppy and her Steel types, so I figured this would be the best team to handle her. Swagsire beats her Caparaja, Clarence takes out her Bronzong and Magnezone, Wongers. Surge electrocutes her Corviknight and she's down to Tinkaton. I try to send in 71%, but he ends up having a hard time dealing with it. Surge comes back in, barely survives a Gigaton Hammer, but she outspeeds and takes her out. Our good buddy Larry is back, and this time he's using flying types, so I'm bringing these Pokemon. 71% takes out his Tropius and severely weakens his Staraptor, so Dragon then jumps in, uses extreme speed to finish it off. I send in Terra to fight his Altaria, but he burns Terra with a flamethrower, so Clarence saves the day with a Dragon Claw. I use my healing item on Terra so she can finish off the Oricorio, which leaves a Flamigo that Surge has no problem with. One more trainer stands between us and the champion, but he's gonna prove to be a real hassle. He's the Dragon-type master, but we've got these star players to help punt them out of the sky. 71% throws a bunch of rocks at Noivern, Kneebreaker smacks around his Dragalge with her giant hammer, Clarence goes claw to claw with his Haxorus, but is able to take it and his Flapple down with a Dragon Claw. But that's when he sends out Baxcalibur. I send in Kneebreaker, go for the play rough, but it doesn't kill and he hits back hard with a Brick Break. But one last crit Gigaton Hammer is enough to finish the job. Now there's only one person left in our way, the champion. I've been told she has a variety of types, so I'm going in with the best team I can think of. We step through those doors, into the rain, and it's time to begin. She leads with her Psychic Ostrich, and I send out Surge. We go for the Volt Switch to bring in Drax, and she tries to go for some sort of Power of the Moon shenanigans, but it is a Psychic type move, and Drax is immune. With a first impression, he easily knocks her out. She brings in her King Gambit, which is like an evolution of Bisharp, so it shares all the same weaknesses. Drax Axe kicks it for an easy kill. Her next Pokemon are Go-Go and Veluza, but Drax is able to finish them both off in one hit with Lunge. We're on a roll, but that's when she brings in her Avalok. I know Axe Kick won't do enough to this defensive behemoth, so I switch in 71% on a Body Press, which takes about half of his health. We hit back with a critical hit Stone Edge, but it's not enough, and her Avalok goes for an Earthquake. Mother Nature struck back, and 71% couldn't take it. I send out Knee Breaker, and she uses her Gigaton Hammer to smash that ice block to bits, which leaves her with one last Pokemon, one I've never seen before, Glimmora. I go for the knockoff to try to get some damage off on it and try to feel out its typing, but she terrestrializes and hits me hard with an Earth Power. Knee Breaker's knockoff only knocked Toxic Spikes onto the ground because of Glimmora's ability, so now anytime I switch in, my Pokemon will get poisoned. Knee Breaker can't take another Earth Power, so I swap into Mr. Miyagi. He easily tanks it, but I can't risk him staying in when I don't know what this thing will do. I go out to Clarence to check its coverage, and because I know I can hit it back with a solid Bulldoze, and thank Arceus we did. She goes for a Sludge Wave, which Clarence tanks just fine, but it absolutely would have killed Mr. Miyagi. Clarence goes for the Bulldoze, which does a huge amount of damage to it, but she reveals she has Dazzling Gleam. Clarence survives the hit, but he doesn't have enough HP to live through the poison damage after. Our knockoff mistake just cost us Clarence. I don't know how fast this thing is, but I'm out of options. Surge has to outspeed and kill because there's no way she survives a Terra boosted rock hit. I click Discharge and then it's over. We've won, but it's not without a cost. 71%. Clarence, and to a lesser extent Mistake, all paid the price. Nimona comes to us and tells us that she'll be waiting in Mesagoza for one final challenge between champions. There's something I need to do first, but the next time I see her, we'll be fighting as equals. It's time to finish off Team Star. I head over to the meeting spot where Cassiopeia said she'd be when the dean of the school in his hello fellow kids disguise stops me at the door. It's me, Clive, your fellow student.
You know, like a liar.
He admits that he's not really a student, but I'm pretty sure any 5-year-old playing this game could have figured that one out. This man's got gray hair sticking out from under his wig and talks like he's from the 1920s. Okay, but did you know I'm really the head of Team Star, Cassiopeia? At this point, I just have to facepalm because this guy has literally been with me when Cassiopeia called multiple times. Well, now that you know that I'm really Cassiopeia... if I fight you, will you stop? No. He may be a terrible educator, but he's a pretty decent battler. After a lot of switching around, Drax is able to kill his Oranguru. He brings in Gyarados, but Mr. Miyagi quickly dodges his Stone Edges and U-turns into Surge, who discharges, and Gyarados is no more. Honeydew has a close back and forth with his Abomasnow, and I have to use my healing item on him, but we're able to finish him off in the end. He brings out a Poltergeist, but it's no match for a quick throat chop from Honeydew. Amoonguss falls to Honeydew as well. Oh no, to think that I, Cassiopeia, could be backed into a corner like this? I guess I'll have to use this Pokemon! He sends in what I can only assume is the Firestarter's final evolution. I bring in Swagsire in the hopes that he can take a hit, but he loses a sizable amount of health to his Torch Song move, which also raises his special attack. We're able to get in an Earthquake, but an Earth Power from his Skeledirge almost takes out Swagsire. I try to switch in Surge on the next Earth Power, but he predicts me and goes for another Torch Song, almost killing Surge and getting another special attack boost. I go for the Volt Switch in the hopes that it's gonna be enough to kill, and in the case it isn't, that I can save Surge to finish him off. Skeledirge survives it, so I need to sacrifice someone. I'm sorry, Terra, my polyamorous penguin friend. I didn't want it to come to this. She falls, but thanks to her bravery, Surge gets a free switch and finishes the battle with a discharge. Oh no, you've beaten me, Cassiopeia, the boss of Team Star! I sigh and just walk past him to the meeting spot where Penny is waiting for me. She reveals that she's actually Cassiopeia, the hacking mastermind. Who would have guessed that the extreme introvert was good at computers? Oh, this person. Hi, Penny. Yeah, Penny, you're awesome. Yeah, as your treasure hunt? Okay. You're definitely Cassiopeia. You just have social anxiety. Is the other your assistant lady that's probably you around? I really think it's Penny. I think Cassiopeia is gonna be Penny. Me. I guess that. Anyway, she's got a bunch of evolutions, so she's pretty much a pushover. At the end of it all, her friends from Team Star walk out of the shadows and everyone gets reunited at last. They agree to go back to school and Penny thanks me for everything. She lets me know if there's ever a time I need her, I can come calling, but she doesn't give me her phone number. Now there's someone else I need to go see. I fly to the lighthouse where Arvin and I first met. Somehow I make it there before him despite taking on the Elite Four and dealing with Team Star. So I'm guessing he just got caught up playing with his Mabostiff. I get it, I play with the cats, it happens. So much has changed since we were last here. We look towards the door to his father's lab. He takes out the key, and we walk in together as friends. The screens flicker as they turn on. Arvin's father's face appears in front of us, asking for our help. He's stuck at the bottom of Area Zero, and he needs us to bring him the book Arvin's been using to track the Titans. It's going to be a dangerous expedition, but he promises that it'll be an experience worth treasuring. Arvin doesn't want to go, and I don't want him to either, but the game has other plans. Since Arvin won't let me head in there alone, he wants me to battle him and test if he's ready to face the dangers that lie in wait for us. I don't want to hurt his Mabostiff, but I can't let him go with me. So with a heavy heart, we begin the battle. He starts with his Greedent, so I have Surge use Volt Switch to swap into Kneebreaker. She shrugs off his Body Slam and one-shots the Greedent with a Gigaton Hammer. He tries to bring in his Scovillain, so I swap out the Dragon. He hits a Fire Blast, but it barely does a thing. I decide that I need to show him how outmatched he'll be down there, so I let Dragon Dragon Dance twice while he has his Scovillain try different attacks to wear us down. First a Crunch, then a Zen Headbutt. After the second Dragon Dance, I use my healing item and lock myself into Outrage. His Scovillain falls, then his Garganackle, and his Cloister too. Dragon gets confused and hits himself versus the Toadstool, so it's time to bring in Drax. She gets poisoned by the Sludge Bomb, but a first impression attack quickly takes out the Toadstool in one hit. All that's left is his Mabostiff. I send in Honeydew, who easily dodges the Play Rough. Kneebreaker switches in and takes half of Mabostiff's health with a Play Rough of her own, and that's when he surprises me. He hits me with a Fire Fang that almost kills Kneebreaker. I know Mr. Miyagi can tank this, so I bring him in and then U-turn into Honeydew for the final hit. I terrestrialize, Honeydew shakes off his next Play Rough, and finishes him off with a Mega Horn. Even after all of that, he insists that he comes along, but at least now he knows we'll need help. He agrees to go ask Penny, and I head to Mesagoza to have a word with the strongest trainer I know. I feel kind of a range of emotions right now, so I figure it's probably best to just record it live. Nimona has been a really fun rival. I've really been enjoying her, but she's also the reason why we lost so many Pokemon for the Psychic Gym. So I'm scared, but I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. I'm feeling a lot of things right now. I don't know if every Pokemon on this team is gonna come back alive. I'm ready. We're gonna do this. I meet Nimona in the middle of the city. People have come from all over to watch our battle, and Nimona tells me how excited she is to finally be able to unleash her full power. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. If we make it out of this, we'll be the strongest trainer in the region. Go, Mr. Miyagi! She starts with her Lichen Rock to set up Stealth Rocks. Mr. Miyagi is able to take it out with 2 Seed Bombs, but not before she hits me with a critical hit Stone Edge that severely weakens Mr. Miyagi. She sends in a Gudra, so it's time for me to bring out Kneebreaker. Kneebreaker goes for the Play Rough, but misses and gets hit with a Muddy Water. The second one connects, but it's not enough to take out the Gudra, and the next Muddy Water brings me into the yellow. I can't risk another miss, so we go for the Gigaton Hammer to finish it. Next up is her Orthoworm. I send in Honeydew, who one-shots it with a close combat, but at the cost of weakening his defenses. Pawmot is up next, and I took the time to learn what this one's typing is before the battle. It turns out it's Fighting Electric. Now, I wanted to save Swagsire for her starter, but I don't have anything else that can take it out. I bring him in, he gets hit by an Ice Punch that takes half his health, but we strike back with an earthquake that ends the Palmont. And just to spite me, she brings in a Dunsparce as her next partner. I go out into Honeydew, who eats a drill run just fine, and it seems like Honeydew will be okay, so I use my turn to heal up Swagsire. But she coils, which raises her attack and defense. This is a problem. I have to be able to take it out in one shot, because close combat lowers Honeydew's defenses each time it's used. If I fail to finish it off, Honeydew won't be able to take whatever it strikes back with. I go for the sword stance and I prepare to hit it with a close combat, but of this hyper drill, you can do this, Honeydew. Honeydew! Fuck. I need Swagsire and Surge for her duck, so I send in Dragon. Now I could Dragon Dance, but I can't risk the same mistake I just made with Honeydew. I activate my Terror Orb and I go for a boosted Outrage. She gets greedy and coils again, so the second one is able to take her out, and Dragon calms down. There's one more left, and it's the one I've been most afraid of. If you didn't know, it's common for water types to also learn an ice move. I figure she's probably got one ready for Dragon. I need to bring in Swagsire, but I cannot bring him in on that ice move, so I have to take a risk. I need to go into Kneebreaker because she's the only one who can take an ice hit, but if Nemona goes for the Aqua Step right now, we're gonna lose Kneebreaker. I switch in, and we guessed correctly. Kneebreaker survives and I'm able to bring in Swagsire on her water move. Swagsire uses all of his might to shake the ground with an earthquake, but it doesn't even do half her health, which means I have to make another judgment call. Surge is probably faster, but I can't guarantee that she's gonna live the ice move. I have to trust that she can, and we get lucky. She goes for an aerial ace instead. I'm able to Volt Switch back into Swagsire, heal up again from her water move, and we finish it all off with a Poison Jab. And that's it. We've won. But the journey's not over yet. Nemona and I meet Arvin and Penny in front of the gate to Area 0. We enter the lower chamber, overlooking the crater. There's only one way down, and it's on Miraidon's back. He looks around, backs away from the edge, and Arvin concludes that it's because he's scared of heights. Everyone climbs up on his back, and we begin our journey downwards. When we land, Miraidon begins shivering, and he goes back into his Pokeball. Professor Turo contacts us again and tasks us with unlocking 4 gates on our way down to the final door. It's mostly uneventful. One by one, each lock opens without much trouble. Some strange Pokemon attack us, but Arvin, Nemona, and I are able to beat them back. Miraidon won't come out of his Pokeball, but we... Near the 3rd gate, we learn that Miraidon and the strange Pokemon are from the future, which is pretty funny because Mirai means future in Japanese. We make it to the 4th research station, and we go to unlock the door when...
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Initiating restart.
We're told that there's another Miraidon that came from the future with ours, in a time machine the professor built. Nemona and Penny want to reunite them, but Arvin stops talking. We can't go back, so there's nothing left to do but keep moving. We make it to the bottom, where one final door awaits us. The professor calls and tells us that when we unlock it, some dangerous Pokemon may try to escape. We can't turn back, so I open the door when the second Miraidon comes from behind us. Nemona and the others insist that I send out my Miraidon, but this is not passing the vibe check. The game forces me to, and our Miraidon cowers in fear. The other Miraidon moves past us and through the door. Our friends wonder if that's what the professor meant by dangerous Pokemon when a horde of metal monsters come out from the door. We use the power of friendship to fight them off, but someone has to go after that Miraidon and find the professor. My friends stay behind while my Miraidon and I steps through the threshold. Professor Turo awakens and sends the other Miraidon back to its ball. We sit and we talk for a while as he reveals that he's actually an artificial intelligence, in case it wasn't obvious. The real Professor Turo died years ago, protecting our Miraidon from an accident. The time machine has continued to bring future Pokemon to our time, and now they're starting to escape Area Zero. The AI needs our help to put a stop to it once and for all. We follow him into the final chamber, but once we try to turn off the machine, his programming will kick in and he'll try to stop us. This is a different kind of feeling than it was for Nemona. Nemona, I was excited, scared. This one, I'm just scared. So let's just do our best and hope that Mr. Miyagi survives. Let's go. We put the book into the machine. His defensive protocols activate, and just before he loses himself, he whispers,
Please, defeat me.
and it's time for the final battle. All of Professor Turo's Pokemon are from the future, with slightly different typing than their original counterparts, so I need to try to guess each one. He starts with future Volcarona, and I lead with Swagsire. It seems like it might be Fire Steel, as an Earthquake takes it out in one shot. Next up is future Tyranitar. Now I can't tell what type this is, so I'm just hoping it shares one of the original Tyranitar's types. Swagsire tries to low kick it, but it's too fast. It hits us with an Earthquake, and our precious Swagsire is gone. I push my feelings down, and I bring in Drax for the axe kick. It isn't enough. He hits us back with a Stone Edge, but somehow Drax lives on 1 HP. We outspeed, so Drax kicks it again, back into the future. The professor sends out a future Hydreigon, which we thankfully fought beforehand. We know it's weak to electricity, so I send in Dragon, who tanks the Air Slash. I use this chance to set up a Dragon Dance. Dragon charges his hands with electricity and thunder punches the future Hydreigon and the future Delibird he sends in afterwards. But then, future Hariyama comes in. Now that thing seems like it's electric and fighting, so I know Surge should be able to deal with it. Surge's Hurricane does about half, and I take a turn to heal Dragon, but Surge gets hit with a Thunder Punch and lives on 5 HP. I'm not too worried because we have Roost, which removes our flying type for the turn and heals half of our health. But by doing that, we start resisting electric type attacks. It's not the most honorable strategy, but it's effective and we're in the final stretch. Once I'm confident that we can live another Thunder Punch, Surge goes for one more Hurricane, but it doesn't kill. It gets him into the red, so Surge Volt switches to get us some momentum back into this battle, but it's also not enough. Now Mr. Miyagi has become quite a tank since the Elite Four. I know that if I bring him in, he's gonna be able to tank this. I send him in, and I finish off Hariyama with a play rough. I'm so proud of this boy. The final Pokemon looks like it's future Glade. It gets a massive attack boost from its ability, and I can't leave Mr. Miyagi in. I go into Knee Breaker, and he goes for a Poison Jab, which we're thankfully immune to. Now I think this might be Psychic type, but all I can do is go for my strongest move. I activate my Terra Orb, and Knee Breaker starts to swing her hammer, but it's too late. Knee Breaker gets hit by a Brick Break, and it completely takes her out. There's not much left we can do. I send in Surge, hoping that the Hurricane can get a confusion, and we can try to get lucky. But to my surprise, she kills it in one hit. We've won. Our friends arrive, but the computer system won't give up. It takes over Turo's vessel, locks any Pokeball not registered to Professor Turo, and he sends out his Miraidon to kill us. Everyone panics and they try to figure out what to do. Nemona wonders how we can fight without our Pokeballs, and I suggest our fists, but Game Freak isn't ready to let us punch a Pokemon. After an embarrassingly long amount of time, I realize that I can just send out our Miraidon, since it was originally the Professor's Pokemon. Then, through the power of friendship and this gun I found, we kick its ass. The AI is freed, and before the machine shuts down, the AI uses it to travel into the future, never to be seen again. Miraidon flies us out of Area Zero, and with that, the story ends. I saved Paldea, and more importantly, Mr. Miyagi. Nemona got to go on an adventure and fight strong enemies. Penny reunited with old friends and made some new ones, and Arvin's dad is dead. So in the end, we all found our special treasure. I couldn't have done it without my Pokemon. Knee Breaker, Swagsire, 71%, Clarence, Midnights, everyone. And of course, Mr. Miyagi. And for everyone who made it this far in the video, thank you for watching my adventure through the Paldea region. It'll be one I will never forget. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And with that, I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.